What is going on, guys? Jay Hoyt back with you today. Now, this is the 11th episode of the Be a GM series. Now, in the last video, we did go through the first round of the playoffs, and unfortunately, we did lose to Detroit once again, but something different than I did 2 years ago now, I should say, or the last playoffs before this playoffs. This year, I did make a change in my staff. I did add an assistant GM in my brother, as he's home from college. So welcome home, Chris.
Thanks, boss. Appreciate it.
So, obviously, if you can't tell, my brother probably will be in most of my videos now for NHL, as we are both sports fans. But we did simulate past the prospects game because nobody even cares about that. And going into retirements, we were talking about what we need before the video. But going into retirements, I'm not sure if anybody actually retired or not. But it looks like we have no one retiring unless there's a goalie. So it doesn't look like we have anybody retiring, which is kind of unfortunate because I was kind of hoping a couple guys would have. But obviously the guys we traded away are all retired. But nobody cares about that. So going into the draft, I don't even remember if we have a first round pick. But where are we? We are 17th, so it's still a pretty average pick. I don't think we should trade up as the main class of McDavid, and obviously Eichel's not in this game, which is kind of unfortunate. But 17th pick, I definitely think we should have a good player coming to Ottawa. But Florida does want to trade. I'm going to find it funny if he wants to trade Mahalik, and they don't. They want to trade 2 fourths for Richards. Now, I did want to get rid of Richards, but I don't think he's really worth 2 fourth-round picks. I definitely think we should get more out of him. Do you agree with that? I don't really know here.
I mean, it really depends on, you got to look at who you have coming up from the AHL team, if anybody, to fill his spot, and then I think you look at also how long he has left on his contract, and then maybe wait until after the draft and then see what you can get for him, because you don't need to take the 2 fourths. You could probably get a third and a fourth somewhere from maybe a more desperate team, but I don't know with Florida right now. I'd probably pass on this one.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Like you said, the contract situation, he has 2 years left at $5.24 million. However, I think it's going to go down to 1 once the actual re-sign stage of the offseason starts. But like you said, I don't think this is a very good trade for us. But as you said, coming up from Binghamton, it will probably be Curtis Lazar, if not anybody. He definitely filled in for Zach Smith as he got injured. So the player I was actually scouting before the video ends up going very early in the draft, which is kind of unfortunate, but obviously there are still very good players left. So as we look for these players, usually I'd go with Gauthier right here, but however, he does not become good in this game. I'm not sure why, but he doesn't become good. But right winger Cal Baby, I don't even know how to pronounce this.
Probably say Babbage.
Okay, so let's go with Babbage. But a right winger, which we need, definitely. I definitely think they need it in real life as well. But a bunch of bigger defensemen here, offensive defensemen. A couple of centers going. Let's definitely see what we need. A couple of right wingers as well. Left-handed defensemen, I think we should definitely hold off on that. But as I'm looking through here, I definitely think I see a player I did want. In the first guy we were talking about, with I don't remember how you pronounced it, but do you think this is a good pick?
Yeah, I think you see the 4 white star there. It looks like the safest pick out of all the guys, at least on your screen there. 4-star puck skills and 4.5-star shooting already. You know, some good stuff to look for, and seems to have a good amount of potential. So that'd be my pick if the roles were reversed here, Josh.
I definitely think this would be a good pick for us. So in the first round, we were going to take Cal, whatever you said beforehand. So welcome to Ottawa, and we do have a second-round pick. I don't remember how many picks we actually have in this draft, if we did trade anybody. But I'm not going to look for any trades at the moment. I'll probably wait till after the re-sign stage is over in order to make some trades or re-sign anybody. But going into this second-round pick, there's a couple players I do like. I don't think I see the one player I was thinking about beforehand, but the 3.5 gold, or the green star I should say, are definitely interesting. But there's a couple players here that I think are all right wings, which we definitely need. But I obviously saw Hamlin, I think it's here, and who was this up here? Rutledge. Defensive defenseman, which I told you guys a million times that I don't like in this game. Jesse something Swedish.
Puljujärvi.
Whatever you want to say. The L and the J is kind of connected there on the screen. But a right-wing sniper, definitely what's needed in Ottawa here. So I definitely think this would be a good pick. Do you think we should go with a right-wing sniper in this position here?
Well, Josh, we seem to agree so far. You got an 18-year-old coming out of Sweden. I think is a solid pick. He'll spend 1 to 2 years in the juniors, give him some good time to develop. He's already 6'3", and being a sniper, that's something to look forward to in the future. I'd take him.
Well, we did take him, and going to the third round, we actually have 2 picks, which is interesting. At 17, I believe, and 24. So it looks like a couple of guys got traded, but nobody really worth of mentioning. Now, if there starts to become a lot lesser of picks, or if they're not very interesting picks, I should say, we definitely will cut out the video because it will be boring. It starts to become where the scouting isn't that good, so you won't really know how good these players actually are until you either draft them or see them somewhere else in the league. But usually you can find players that you know get good, but at this point I don't see anybody that I'm really interested in. Actually, let's check goalies because I don't usually check them. But you probably already see it on your screen. I don't know if you saw it right away, Chris. But Michael Herringer for Green Star. I definitely think this will help us. Now, I know we do have Leonard, and I believe it's Moody with some potential in our system. But with Herringer being 20 years old, I believe he will go right to Binghamton and get those reps. Now, I know before the video, Chris and I were both talking about Anderson being, I believe it's 35 or 36 years old and starting to drop in his overall, and we definitely need the younger presence to come into Ottawa. So do you think we should go with a goalie here in the third round, as we do have another pick right after this?
You know, Josh, one of the things to look for when you guys are drafting on the game is look where they're projected to go. Usually that's where they will go since the draft is completely computer generated and all that good stuff. So I would take Herringer here, and then I saw a defenseman that was for White Star that you could definitely take with your next pick here at number 24. If I remember the name correctly, he didn't go there. So, I mean, you still got him here. I think he was 6'6" defenseman. Right there, it is starting to rain at our house, so probably hearing that in some background noise. But E2 Sopanen, you know, like I just said, 6'6", big, huge defenseman. Projected to go in the 5th round, but for White Star means he's probably going to be really good compared to the rest of the players. So personally, I'd snag him here. You might be considered a reach, but you know what? You're going to be getting a good player for your organization, so you might as well go for it right now.
Yeah, like you said, I do like the big size on him, and like I said, sorry if you can hear the rain in the background. It's kind of storming where we live in New York, but either way, we're going to continue with the video. Hopefully our power doesn't go out or anything like that, because it's going to be hell trying to fix the video. But we will take this, I don't remember how you pronounced it, but Sopanen or whatever his name was, we will take him, the big defenseman. I do like, and he's not a defensive defenseman, so that should definitely help us in our system here in Ottawa. But I'm going to skip ahead in the video, mainly because it's raining. It's going to probably be really loud, and these picks are going to be really boring. So we'll see you in a second. We just finished the draft, and however, it is going to start thunderstorming here. So I'm going to wrap it up for right now, but I might throw in the off-season in a second part. And we're back with the off-season, and it's a different day. It's a new time. I'm with my assistant GM yet again. Chris, my brother, in case you haven't seen the previous videos. So we're starting the offseason in the re-sign stage. You just saw the draft and everything. So it is going to be the re-sign stage where we've already talked about what we want. So it is interesting. But now we're going to tell you and go along with you. So we were talking about our centers, and we were kind of curious to see what Richard's going to do. Now, I know before the video, Chris, you said to me what you thought of our center situation, but how about you tell the people as I re-sign some of the AHL guys?
Well, folks of YouTube, we decided that, well, I kind of just spat out an idea to Josh that we should have Kyle Turris on line 1 and then Zibanejad followed by Lazar on line 3, and then Smith on line 4, and then end up trading Richards. I mentioned to Josh that if there was nothing exciting in the offseason this time, you could always wait until next offseason, let him play out his contract. It is huge, so you'd have a ton of money either way, but I think we are going to trade him. It doesn't make sense to just have him on the roster. It's just wasted money, wasted space on the roster. So I think we're going to give Lazar a chance on the third line. Smith's still a solid skater at an 83 overall, so we're going to play him on the fourth line, I would imagine, coming up in the middle of the season. So that's what we're going to do with our centers.
Definitely agree with that, Chris. Going on to our left wings, we basically have a set lineup here, except for we have a couple of guys that have big questions. Now, looking at our team, Chris, who do you think we should give a chance this year, or should we keep him in the AHL to give him more time to develop?
Well, Josh, he was in the AHL last year. You're sitting on him right now. Hunter Shinkaruk, or Shinkaruk, I don't know how to say his last name, but we'll probably toss around both of them. But I think he's going to come up, probably play the second line. We talked in the previous part of the video that we're going to be trading MacArthur and then have Heatley and Greening on line 3 and 4. I think moving Shinkaruk immediately up to the second line gives him a chance to prove himself in the NHL. You know, whatever kind of point production he starts to put up, we'll kind of adjust the lines from there and see how he does in his first season.
I definitely agree with that. And like you said, we were probably going to end up, I don't know if you actually said it or not, but Heatley, if we were going to bring up Shinkaruk and trade MacArthur, Heatley is another question we have. Being 35 years old, 82 overall, we definitely have some guys that are hungry with Pumple, like you said, and we could definitely give it a shot. So Heatley is another question mark we do have, or at least I have anyway. But Greening, I know you were talking before the video. He still makes still makes a great fourth line left wing, being a bigger guy and a bit of a fast guy. But he wants 1.9, but I'm going to give him 1.5 for 1 year to see if he still does good in the NHL. If not, then we'll probably end up moving him or releasing him next year. Definitely going in, we definitely need a big fourth line left wing in Colin Greening. Matt Pumple, I think there's no question about this one. We're definitely going to re-sign him. Definitely going to go 3 years. 7.5 should get it done. Other left wings, we have Guptill, not a chance of you coming back. Got him in the Jason Spezza trade. I don't know if anybody actually knew that or not, but he ends up not being very good. Going on to our left wings, we do have a couple of question marks here, as we don't really have a true second line right wing. We definitely do want to give a chance to Stone this year. But going into Condra and Butler, I definitely think we should release Butler. I only got him for depth last year. But going into Eric Condra, do you think this would be a smart idea to bring him back?
Well, I mean, we looked before the video, and he wants such a little amount of money. It makes a ton of sense to bring him back. Even if he puts up 10 points playing on the fourth line, he's still worth the money at that kind of poor production, I'll say. But I think it's almost a no-brainer to bring back Eric Condra. He knows, I mean, this kind of gets into real life instead of video games a little bit, but he knows the system, he knows the way his team plays, and it doesn't make sense to bring up an AHLer yet. I don't think there's anybody there that's good enough in the overall category. And like Josh said, we'll give Stone a chance in the second line. In real life, his production is definitely a second line right wing. His overall and potential on NHL 15 do not show the same, but you know, when he is put on the second line, paired up with, I mean, whoever we decide to put there, he can definitely perform and is shockingly better than Chiasson, which, given their overalls and potentials, you wouldn't think, but that is the case. So
that is very true. So as I'm just signing a couple of AHL guys that I do want to get better, because I do like them in real life. They're great people. But looking at our rookies, we actually did draft very, very good at the right wing position, but unfortunately, I believe a lot of them, or most of them, I should say, will be going to the juniors, except for Yamamoto here. But I think we're gonna wait a little bit, maybe till after the off season, to sign some of these guys, only because I want to see what's in the off season first. Going into, I think, our strongest point of our team is our defense. However, last year we did allow a lot of goals. But Cody Ceci did jump from last year, so I don't think there's really a question here of to re-sign him. He does want a lot of money, which I don't particularly like. But if we try to sign him long term here, we're not spending too much more money than trying to sign him for like a year or a couple of years. So would you rather sign him long term, or would you rather sign him to a very short, or well, what type of contract would you be looking to give to Cody Ceci here?
Well, Josh, I think he's kind of hitting a peak at the 87, 88 overall range. So I'd say if you sign him to, say, a 3 or 4 year deal, he's not going to want more money when his contract expires. He might even want less. So I think 4 years at 4 mil, or you could even be a brat like we normally are and try him at 3.75. Either way, he's gonna produce for you on the first or second line, depending on what your playing preferences. But Cody Ceci, definitely you want to bring him back there. Only 22 years old, but like I said, whatever money you give him, whether it's 3.75 or 4 million, it makes sense for a 4-year contract because he is reaching his peak during those years. So I don't think he'll want any more money the second go round when you re-sign him.
I definitely agree with that, and I think I like the contract that's on the screen now at 3.75. But we do have to be careful here because I don't think I've mentioned this in the video yet, but we are kind of fighting cap room this year. Now, I don't like that too much, but with our team the way it is now, and with our couple of contracts that I don't really like in Mike Richards, basically, we do have to conserve our cap here in Ottawa, but I don't believe that we've actually signed anybody to too big of a contract yet. I think our biggest one 1.5. I think it is in Colin Greening. So I actually kind of made a fool of myself there. But either way, we're gonna go sign Weirkoch, or I think we actually have to I can't talk today. Or we can have to sign Jacob Trouba. He does want very little money, so that is good. So I think we're gonna sign him in the somewhere around a 3-year range. Probably go down to like a 1.25 at 3. Does that look good to you, Chris?
Yeah, it sounds good for a first try. I mean, with the range you have to re-sign guys, if he doesn't accept 1.25, later tonight on the game, he'll definitely accept 1.5 tomorrow.
Yeah, I was actually just thinking in my head, I don't know if you were, he does want 3 years. However, in the next couple of years, I do know that there's a bunch of top line defensemen that do end, or not end their contracts, but their contracts do expire. So we might have a chance at one of those guys to bring to our team, because I know we definitely need to fill some gaps here in Ottawa. But I actually am going to sign him to a 2-year deal rather than a 3. Like you said, though, sign up some of our younger guys to like a 3 or 4-year deal would definitely help for the future. But Jacob Trouba is kind of a question mark for me, mainly because he did kind of struggle last year. I know he is playing on the third line defensive spot, but he also is going negative in the plus-minus department. So I do want him to improve that. If not, then we'll have to make a change. But I still have to sign Patrick Weirkoch. I know Jonathan Blum, I did get him for depth, so I'm going to release him. Because we don't really need him in Binghamton to develop. But like I said before, with the younger guys, I am going to wait a little bit. But we probably are going to sign Sopan in here. But Andrew Hammond needs a contract, or we release him. Now, I believe we were talking before the video that we are going to release Andrew Hammond. I definitely think was that the right choice here?
Yeah. I think we talked about Anderson has those 2 remaining years on his contract that you can see there, and then Leonard's up next year. I figure Leonard will want somewhere around $4 million, and then if you let Anderson play out his contract, you can either sign him to a 1-year deal and then trade him right in the offseason, or he'll retire. And what I was telling Josh was, Andrew Hammond isn't anything special on a video game. You can find an 82 overall backup goaltender for around $1.5 mil. So for me, it's a no-brainer to release him. You can find something just as good because, obviously, as you know, real life does not translate to video games whatsoever.
Not at all. Speaking of that, and like I said before, for I think like the 4th time in a row, we are going to wait on the prospects. Definitely still have a question of these 2 guys. Now we have $8.5 million to sign all these guys. Now I know Weirkoch wants somewhere around $4 million. He wants somewhere around 1.5. Let's try what do I want to try here? Let's go with a 4.25 at 4 years, because it's a little bit more than we gave him last time. So hopefully he'll accept that. If not, then we'll probably jump up to about a $4.5 million deal. Jacob Trouba, I don't know what. I remember what you want. We just offered him 1.25, didn't we?
Yep.
So I'm gonna offer 1.5 at 2 years. Hopefully he'll accept it. Sorry that I can't really talk today. I'm not really quite sure why.
Kyle Poso, Keith Yandel. If you could get either of those guys, if they're unrestricted, definitely make the move without a doubt. You could definitely use both of those guys, but we'd have to trade Richards and MacArthur first, get some more cap space under our belt to get either of those guys.
Yeah, like you said, cap space is huge at the moment, but like you said, MacArthur and Mike Richards are definitely on our trading list to get out of Ottawa. But Kyle Poso, I've never got him actually in this game. He seems to put up points, and he seems to be a good player, but I've never got him, so I don't know if I want to go there just yet. Keith Yandel, obviously currently on the Rangers.
Shout out.
My brother's favorite team, in case you didn't know. But obviously he's a great player. Gunnarsson, I think, is a defensive defenseman, which I don't like. You guys already know that. Brian Boyle, like you said, a big guy that's kind of lacking in this skating department. Still a great penalty killer in real life, though. Still puts up some points in the game. Brandon Sutter, obviously a third-line guy. But looking down here, I don't really see too much I really want to go for. Ray Whitney, why have you not retired at 44 years old? Unless you want to be the next Jaromir Jagr. But I don't really see anything but depth in fourth-line guys, basically, except for like the top 5 guys here. Goalies, I just wanted to check this. Kind of curious. But I think our first thing, or I say our first business, is looking for trades for Clark MacArthur and Mike Richards. So we will come back to you once we do find those trades. So see you in a second. Okay, so we did find a trade for Mike Richards. I don't know if it's going to go through, but it's just kind of a salary dump in a way, but we have about $2 million coming back towards us. So will it go through? Yes. So the next trade will be Clark MacArthur. So we will get back to you once we find it. Looking through the trades, and we did find a trade we did like. Clark MacArthur and Scotty Upshaw to Edmonton for Jordan Eberle. Now, the reason why we did this is because Jordan Eberle will be a second-line sniper for us. And what we were thinking, well, what I was thinking, and Chris kind of agreed with me, is the third line would consist of Danny Heatley, Curtis Lazar, and Mark Stone. Now, Mark Stone is a young, upcoming guy. You guys already know that. But I definitely think this will help us in our future. I didn't actually check how much he's got left. 3 years. So that will definitely help us in our pursuit for the Stanley Cup. So, will it go through? No.
Said it was just a bit low. You could probably throw in, a 4th or 5th round pick, or maybe both, and then see what you can get from there.
All right. Well, we are going to try with a 6th round pick. So I don't want to give anything up too early. 5th, 4th. Okay, so they don't want to take on the. This makes no sense. This game is like ridiculous with salary cap. But I think you did calculate it, Chris, and you did say it was 6.5 or whatever. So they're only getting about 500, whatever you want to call that, 1,000 more. So let's try this. So there we go. I think it does even out in salary cap wise. But we did just get Jordan Eberle on our team. So if you just want a quick update to what is going on, we did trade Mike Richards. You just saw that. And we did just trade Clark MacArthur for Jordan Eberle along with Scotty Upshaw. Whatever his name is. So we do have basically our team. We're just probably going to look for a couple of depth guys and potential guys for Binghamton to try to help us develop in the AHL. Obviously, we definitely want to do that. So we will get back to you once we do find something interesting for our team. Okay, so we did find another trade. Now, it wasn't one that we were originally planning on, but I did get a great idea from my assistant GM and Chris saying we should go get Keith Yandel. Now, Keith Yandel is a free agent at the moment, He just wants somewhere around $6 million. I don't remember exactly what number it was. But in order to get him, we would have to get rid of either Spiza or Weirkoch. Now, I do like Weirkoch more than Spiza, mainly because Spiza wasn't doing anything. But if you look at our team, Sekera would definitely go down to the second line to play with Cody Ceci. And Yandel would obviously be on the first line with Carlson. So it does make sense in my mind. I do like the trade. So we are going to be trading Lucas Spiza to Montreal for, I think it's Tim Bozen and a second-round pick. Now, I don't know if it will go through, but will it? It will. So, good call, Chris. Great trade. I definitely like the idea. So, we do now have $9 million to spend on Keith Yandel. So, we will go try to sign him. Now, going into this Keith Yandel deal, what kind of numbers should we offer him to make sure he does come to Ottawa?
Well, you were saying it was a good trade, and it's not a good trade unless we do for sure sign Keith Yandel. So we need to sign him because at this point we have only 5 good defensemen. He would be the 6th. I don't think you can go as close as 6.5. I think you're looking more towards the 6.75, maybe even the 7 million range to ensure that you get Keith Yandel on your team.
Yeah, because once this contract is basically done, he will be 34, so he'll probably want basically one more contract if he wants to stay in Ottawa, or if he does want to go somewhere else, then he might sign like a couple-year deal or something, then probably end up retiring. But at the end of this contract, we won't know what his overall will be like, what his point production will be like until we get there. So, like you said, we want to go on the higher end of this $6 million range. 6.75 seems alright to me, but 7 mil I definitely think is too much at the moment. But like you said, we definitely want to ensure him coming to Ottawa. So let's go with 6.85. Now, I usually like to stick it around like quarters of millions, but in this case, I want to go a little bit higher than 6.75, but lower than 7 million. But a 5-year deal at $6.85 million. Obviously, you're going to consider it. Still doesn't have any offers. There we go. Keith Yandel is coming to Ottawa. Great idea, Chris. I definitely like that idea. But at this point, I think we're just going to sign some prospects and find some potential guys. So we will see you once the preseason starts and we simulate all up there and get everything ready as far as line changes and roster moves and all the good stuff. So we will see you in a second. So we are back, and I did simulate through the preseason because nobody even cares about that. But we did go 5-1-1, I believe. But I will show you the lines, and then I will wrap it up for now. So if you look on our team, a bunch of guys did grow, which is good for us. But obviously some players did drop if they are on the older side. But a first line, Hoffman, Turris, and Ryan. Definitely think that line's going to be a lot better than or a lot better with Hoffman there instead of MacArthur. Shinkarik, obviously a younger player, becoming very good for us. And then our third line, you can see Heatley, Lazar, and Stone. With our fourth line returning once again in Greening, Smith, and Chiasson. Going to defense, obviously the new acquisition of Yandel, playing alongside with Carlson, Sekera, and Ceci, and Weirkoch and Trouba. I won't bore you with the rest of the lines except for goalies, Anderson and Leonard once again for that. And then obviously the AHL, which I'm not going to go through because that is boring. But anyway, guys, that's the end of the video. Make sure you leave a like and comment and all that other good stuff. Subscribe if you're new. And stay tuned for the rest of the videos. And if you haven't already, make sure you go check out the rest of the series. It is on my channel. So, anything else to say, Chris?
Nope, just that hope you guys return for the next video. It shall be just as good as this one, if not better.
Yeah, like you said. Anyway, guys, that's in the video, and I'll see you later.